Trump, if you remember, he does this. You can see right through the hand signal he uses, that's 666 right there. 666 times 3 is 18. In mathematics, that's rule or ruler. How does he rule according to the Revelation? He's going to use credit. Your Visa card shows you that. VI, Roman numeral 6. S for Sigma, in Greek language, another 6. The A for atom, the first man, which tells you in the book of Revelations, it speaks on this through symbolic gestures. So we got to look within and use the mathematics to draw it up, gods and earth. We don't have time to play no more. Everything is real right now. Even with Obama, it was real then. But with Trump, remember, he's the law and order candidate. What was Yaku's rules and regulations to be enforced while manufacturing the devil? Devil is a mindset. He just now put in office his top strategy advisor who's against everything as it relates to having liberty, justice, and an equal opportunity for all. Y'all better stop paying attention, stop playing with small, minor things and start getting major out there, because it's about to get really ugly. All y'all looking for the handout, food stamps. Notice what it said: benefits and privileges in the form of social insurance. That's Social Security. There is no security in this social state. Right now, they're calling this a white nation, right? Now, these white folks are happy that they got Trump now. Don't be trumped out. Look at the Trump card. Play your hand and play your position right. Peace.
All right, so we know and understand that Trump is the president-elect. First and foremost, what is your view on Trump, and then your view on what original people are gonna, be looking, I don't want to say looking forward to, but for lack of a better term, looking forward to face in his reign as president, as well as what we need to do to make sure that we're straight.
Well, first of all, good morning. We start there. Tell you mathematics, knowledge, culture, all being born to power. Knowledge and culture is born to power. I want to go into that just briefly before I answer your question. You knowledge is culture, God, and it born power. We're not talking about walking around with crowns and flags on all day and think that that's the culture. What we're talking about is recognizing your way of life, how to live a certain lifestyle that's plentiful. Now, when we're dealing with the power, we're talking about all the powers of truth, black man's God. Power is organized effort, man. Organized effort. I might have said this before in one of the videos that you did with me. And that organization comes from a collective mind. Yeah, we got the lessons. Yeah, we got how long we've been around. Yeah, we got those that's walked with the Father. But a lot of the Father is not here in the physical form to give us the proper guidance. We need to take initiative now to show up, to grow up, and realize that we've been trumped. Okay? Trumped. Now let's go ahead and answer the question. My views on Trump. I initially said earlier in the early campaign, dump Trump, sentence Clinton, vote for yourself. And the reason why is because all of us, when we went into school, we took a pledge, unbeknownst to us. You all remember it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the what? Republic. There's no independence there. There is no Democratic Party in that statement. To the Republic for which to stand, one nation under who? Their God, in which they think is the God, an invisible God they want you to see after you are dead, right? Indivisible with liberty and justice for who? All. But when that was done for them, not for you. So I want to read something, okay? I don't know if I'm verbatim, but it's something that you should understand. We all know the expiration of the devil, right? According to our lessons, they were supposed to expire in 1914. What happened in 1914? The initial peace of World War I, right? The military-industrial complex really started to take off, right? They was fighting the gun for world control, right? Trump is going to usher in World War III, and how's he going to do it? In 1913, we got to go back before we move forward. In 1913, there was a gentleman, his name was Colonel Edward Manuel House. Colonel Edward Manuel House. This gentleman was a diplomat, a politician, and he was Woodrow Wilson's right-hand man. He never served in the military. That's a hint for you. Trump never served in the military, okay? Never served at all. He just now put his top advisor, who do not believe in diversity, who do not believe in equal, compensation, has no understanding of an equilibrium of the people. So here's what I want to read to all of you out there. In 1913, Edward Manuel House spoke about the Federal Reserve System. That is the private entity that creates and generates money, your debt, which is what everybody's chasing for, the paper chase. The passage, I'm going to read it right from where the source came from. The passage of the Federal Reserve Act was a major milestone on the road to serfdom that this entire progression outlines. The conspiratorial nature of matters amplified in the comments by one of the major actors in the triumph of the Federal Reserve, Edward Manuel House, who had this to say in a private meeting, because they do a lot of private meetings on a golf course, behind the scenes, right? Said this to Woodrow Wilson back then, and it's still in effect today. Very soon, I want y'all to listen, because most leaders, Farrakhan, and all these so-called, black leaders ain't telling you this. They are part of the program, okay? When you register, right? All you registered Muslims out there, pay attention, okay? Very soon, every American will be required to register their biological property in a national system designed to keep track of the people and that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. Didn't you pledge? All of us pledged when we was young. Pledge our allegiance, if you remember. By such methodology, we can compel people to submit to our agenda, which will affect our security as a chargeback to our fiat paper currency. That's the money. Right? If you know anything about chargebacks, it's how they get their money back using the human resource. Every American will be forced to register or suffer being unable to work and earn a living. Isn't it happening now? Or you registered your biological property using the birth certificate. If you look in the lower half corner of your birth certificate, it's a bond, it's a banknote. But of course, most of you ain't even thinking. I'm telling you, do that, right? Let me go on. They will be our chattel, and we will hold the security interest over them forever by operation of the law merchant under the scheme of secure transactions. Now, I'm a first-year law student. That's under what they call the Uniform Commercial Code. Law merchant under the scheme of secure transaction, because your immovable property, the UCC governs that. Of course, they don't teach you that in school. I'm telling you what it is. Look it up. Americans, by unknowingly or unwittingly delivering their bills of lading, that's the birth certificate, to us, will be rendered bankrupt and insolvent forever to remain economic slaves through taxation secured by their pledges. When you sign the 1040 form, you are basically saying that you are giving up your rights and you are forced to pay the tax based upon the pledging because you said you was going to do it. They will be stripped of their rights and given a commercial value designed to make us a profit, and they will be none the wiser, but not one man in a million could ever figure out our plans. And if by accident one or two should figure it out, we in our arsenal have plausible deniability. After all, this is the only logical way to fund government, by floating liens and debt to the registrants in form of benefits and privileges. Do you understand what that's saying? Let me repeat that part again, just in case you missed it. They will be stripped of their rights and given a commercial value designed to make us a profit, and they will be none the wiser, for not one man in a million could ever figure out our plans. And if by accident one or two should figure it out, we have in our arsenal plausible deniability. After all, this is the only logical way to fund government, by floating liens and debt to the registrants in the form of benefits and privileges. This will be inevitably reap to us huge profits beyond our wildest expectations, and leave every American a contributor to this fraud, which we will call social insurance. That's called Social Security, if you didn't understand the layman terms. Without realizing it, every American will insure us for any loss we may incur, and in this manner, every American will not only be our servant, however begrudgingly. The people will become helpless and without any hope for their redemption, and we will employ the high office of the president of our dummy corporation to foment this plot against America. Do you understand what he just said? That the president of the United States of America, which United States of America is a corporation, right? And all of you are employees to the corporation, not knowing you. When you give up your birth certificate, your child is born into slavery. And because of it, and because you don't have an understanding of how it works, you fall right into place. So what does Trump do? He's gonna usher in radio frequency ID for the immigrants. As my brother Jerul mentioned to me this morning, the wall that he's talking about putting up is not to keep people out, it's to keep y'all locked in. Okay? This is nothing to play with, man. The gods and earths and those that are supposed to have knowledge, right, and wisdom and understanding, we got to get off Elijah, his answers alone. We got to start creating our own solutions to the problem 13. If you understand, there ain't no problem if you the one who was the master with the solution, right? We got to get off this back and forth nonsense that we be on sometimes as gods and earth, right? Well, your lesson didn't say this. You remember, you taking Elijah's understanding and drawing it up like it's your own, right? These are lost found Muslim lessons. The supreme mathematics, supreme alphabet gives us the tool to unlock everything that's a problem. If you don't do that, you're going to have a problem. Look around. Look within the nation. We got problems, real problems, simple, dumb problems that shouldn't even be that way if we truly have knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I just showed you what's been going on since 1913, because before then, none of this was happening. Okay? I mean, there was things going on, but I'm talking about that. Look Colonel Edward Manuel House up, find out what he said, and start to really do what needs to be done. Now, as a people, we got to now move across the aisle. Allah the Father knew that he had to use politicians to get things done. I'm not saying fall into the trap of politicians. I'm looking at Allah's example. He could not have done a lot of the things if he didn't have those relationships within politics. Did he sell out? Did he fall victim? No. But he was on the mayor's payroll. That's an actual fact, for $150. Him and, you know what I mean, old man Justice. Do your research, gods and earths. Stop playing. Right now, we're living in some real times. And all this that we're about to go through and have been going through is in the book of Revelation, right? We say that we reveal the knowledge so that you can wake up. Some of y'all in the nation is still asleep, dealing with minor things, when right now major things is happening. And I'm going to tell you,